Would you allow Musk to invest in Hibs?
Probably, yeah.
No morals at all.
No morals as long as we win.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of the Salt and Sauce podcast. This will be a brief one this week. We're squeezing in a little bonus episode because obviously we've got midweek matches, but we wanted to review the games at the weekend and look ahead to them. And then there is the small matter of a game on Sunday. I think it's Hearts v Edinburgh Reserves or something. So we'll look ahead to that. Obviously, that will come in the next episode. Before we get started with today, though, just do a quick shout out to our sponsors. I'll quickly first shout out Decor. Good bunch of guys locally based in Edinburgh who will take care of any painting, decorating needs that you might have in your own home. Robert, our other sponsor?
Mintbox removal. So again, good bunch of guys. Dave and his band of merry men. Really professional, and there's lots of celebrities. You don't have to look very far online to get really good reviews for the guys. So give them a hit up if you've got any house moves coming up or office moves. They're top notch.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Robert. So we'll get started. For the reviews of the weekend, I realise that you've probably got the bigger headline from the weekend, so I'll maybe go first, and we'll build up to the main event, and I'll just let your smugness build up. But our one, do you know what, as well, is so we beat St Johnstone 2-1 at McDermott. But it's the type of win that you'd probably agree, Robert, you'd be delighted with when, all eyes are on it because it's on the Sunday, so like everyone's watching it. The pitch was, I mean, we've criticised pitches a couple of times on the podcast. That was next level bad. So you're worried, and I think on any other surface we beat St Johnstone comfortably. That said, I think in terms of patterns of play, we were comfortably the better team. But obviously, you and I actually spoke about it on the day. There were a couple of big moments in the game that, had they gone differently, that it could have changed the result. And I was trying to think what would I say about the game, because it wasn't the prettiest game of football, partly because of the pitch. That said, it was quite entertaining. But I would just say that for Hearts, I feel like a lot of key people did their jobs, and I used to always think it was a bit bizarre when people used to talk about your keeper saved you, your keeper kept you in the game and all that. Your keeper's part of your team, and it's good to sign a good one and it's bad to sign a bad one. And as you'll know, Rob, you've had a couple of bad Hibs goalies over the decades, and Gordon's just brilliant. Like, his save was absolutely phenomenal. And I spoke about the non-penalty against Rangers, and then they scored 60 seconds later, and it goes from 2-1 to us to 2-1 to them. But this goes from 2-1 to St Johnstone to 2-1 to us. So the other side of that then obviously is Cabangu scoring goals. And he's our top scorer in the league already. He's got 7 and 7 since signing in January. He's got a bit of pace. He gets in behind, but he puts the ball in the net, which I know, again, for you, Robert, your favourite type of player is a striker that puts the ball in the net. You absolutely love it. And he's been doing that. But even Shankland with a couple of assists, and I spoke about him playing in that number 10 role. I still think he can give us a bit more. But 2 assists from your number 10 is great as well. So I just think we had key players doing key things. And ultimately, having been on a really good run and then really frustratingly losing against Rangers, it was massive to get back on track. And as much as you're going to talk about a brilliant win for Hibs, if Hibs ever go to McDermott and win a relatively scrappy, at times lucky, but whatever overall, 2-1 win at McDermott, you'd be buzzing.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to start with I thought St Johnstone should have won. No. I thought Hearts they got the job done, and as we said, that's what you've got to do. I actually was watching it. I was watching the kind of build up to it, and I looked at the pitch and I was like, "There's no way this is going ahead." Like, it looked like terrible. So I was surprised the game did go ahead, and the pitch wasn't bad enough for it to be called off, but it was bad enough to stop kind of good football. But I actually thought both teams dealt with it quite well. St Johnstone played some all right football, and Hearts as well at times played some nice football as well. As you said, the standouts, Cabango, he's going to be a handful for defences in the league. He's confident, he's movement, he's touch, and then the most important thing, when you get in front of goal, you take the chance, and that's what he does. And I think possibly he's taken a bit of heat off Shankland. As you say, Shankland's a reasonably intelligent player, can thread those passes through. He's got decent movement as well, can read the game well. So look, that's going to be a dangerous combination. And you've got the likes of Spittle, and I actually thought Beningame as well was a big standout. He was just getting all those second balls and getting Hearts playing again. Wasn't kind of allowing St Johnstone to come at them, even when they were throwing people forward. So that's kind of my thing. The other thing is, though, that all jokes aside, Hearts obviously relied on Gordon to make the save, as you say. That's what you do. That's why you've got a good number one there. And the miss from, I think it was Graham Kerry from a couple of yards. He's a good player, good SPL player, and he's got a good strike on him. And he'll be wondering how did I miss that? But I don't think there's any doubt Hearts deserve to win the game. But it's one of those games that Hibs have had as well, where I look at it and I think you're happy just to get the 3 points, because although you deserve to win the game, you don't always get what you deserve. So,
and I think we had so many games at the early part of the season where we actually played better than the results suggest, but because Shankland was off form and we didn't have Cabango, we weren't winning. But you're absolutely right. That was a bad miss, and that's what I mean with the big moments went in our favour for those things as well. But also, thanks for reminding me. I meant to give Beningame a shout out because he was genuinely.
Yeah.
I've always said he's a phenomenally good footballer, and if it wasn't for his injury record, we'd be playing at a much higher level. Because he's as much as him being good at second balls, he is so good on the ball as well. Yeah. He's so calm and composed, and if we can keep a fully consistently fit Beningame, then we're a much better team for it.
Yeah.
However, I know you'll want to talk about it. Hibs scraped a victory despite a shocking refereeing call towards the end of the game. And it's that conspiracy against Celtic playing up again.
Yeah, I just want to say, and I think I put on our Twitter account, I was so pessimistic about Hibs' chances. And to be fair to myself, I don't think anyone thought Hibs were going to win. I think maybe people thought, we're going to give Celtic a good game, or, we're going to make life difficult. We did everything I said you had to do to get a result against the Old Firm. And you need to carry a bit of luck as well, because they're better players in every position. We started on the front foot, which was great. We started with two up front as well, Bowie and Boyle. So you've got the big man holding it up. He made a nuisance of himself. You had Boyle, then you had Campbell supporting them as well, bombing forward. And obviously he got 2 goals for it. So we did everything. We took our chances when they came. We could have had more, actually. We could have had a penalty. And also, against Celtic, you carry a bit of luck as well. But what we did do, we defended so well against a team full of attacking players. You look at the subs they made at half-time, the 3 players they brought on, I think it was Jota, Hatate, and Schlupp. That's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous that you can just bring those players on. But we dealt with kind of just about everything that they had to throw at us. One of the standout moments was when Rocky was injured. He was about to come off, and he's run back to get on the line, and he's cleared that from Jota. Now, if he doesn't do that and just goes down, and the game continues, there's no one on the line then to stop that from happening. So just get back in the game. But it's that kind of desire and willingness just not to concede and to do everything possible. There were good blocks from Iredale as well, and O'Hora as well. There was a good save from Smith. Smith with not arguably, he was definitely at fault for that. The Celtic was given. You have to come out and just collect that. But look, that was a minor kind of stain on what I thought was a brilliant team performance, and you carried a bit of luck as well. In terms of that decision, I know a lot of Celtic fans are crying about it. The amount of times Hibs have had shock and VAR calls against them, I actually think it was the angle that I have seen, I would say that that's out of play. Now, what Celtic are saying is we don't have the technology to conclusively say, but like it doesn't look like any of the balls touching the line, and that's what they've said. If they say that's a goal and they think it's out, that's not good enough. That's going to cost Hibs. So,
this is one of the issues with VAR. I think I agree with everything you say about the game. By the way, Hibs were great. There is only so much you can dominate a game against Celtic, so they're obviously going to have chances, and you talk about clearing stuff off the line and the keeper making saves. If that's against St Johnstone, you're thinking, Jesus Christ, mate, you clung on. But against Celtic, that's what you do. But yeah, the thing that Celtic were complaining about was, the refs. They've played on as if they got the balls in. So what you then need to do is prove that it was out and that the technology is in there. Now, I get it. I get what they're saying with that. But my issue with that then is I think the linesman is not flagged for it because he's thinking, it's like offsides. Let's play on, see what happens. Because if Celtic miss, there's no decision to be made. It doesn't matter. But obviously, if they score, we need to check, and it's the same with offsides. So I think VAR stops refs and linesmen from making decisions that they would have made before because they think, I'll just see what VAR says. So, so what he's maybe given something different. He maybe thought that ball probably was out, but I'll not flag just in case it leads to a goal and it was in.
Yeah.
And then VAR's job is to overturn that and prove that he's wrong. But obviously, he maybe thought otherwise. I don't know. He maybe did think it was still in as well. But I again totally agree with you. Even if the ball was in, even if it was clearly in, actually, I couldn't care less. And I say that even as a Hearts fan, with Hibs winning, as well as Hibs being a rival in the league positionally as well. Obviously, it's in our interest for Hibs to lose, or at least draw there. And it's classic Celtic when they lose a game, they need to distract from it. The fact that they were actually quite poor, they were outplayed and outfought and outthought.
Yeah. I think that's they were outfought. Hibs were right up for it, and you could tell that from the first whistle, which I was absolutely delighted with, and it was lovely to see Sunshine and Leaf playing at the end. It's the first time we've kind of had the chance to properly play it in a meaningful way this season, because it's been such an up and down season for us. But that was a big game. It was a big performance, and every single one of those Hibs players, even Miller, who we've criticised on this podcast. He was outstanding. That's his best performance in a Hibs shirt because he kept it simple. Positionally was great, and again, he used his strengths. So he's a great athlete. Don't try and be Maradona on the ball. Just keep it simple. Win your headers, and that's what he did. So props to him as well. I thought he was outstanding, along with all the Hibs players. So I'm not going to be that negative again.
Well, not until the next time. It was also, by the way, an entertaining game as a sort of neutral, in that that one you spoke about was cleared off the line was a minute after the Hibs penalty claim, the disallowed goal, the goals themselves, the fact that Hibs were playing quite well. But I wonder, do you think there was anything in Celtic being tired from Munich, or potentially thinking, we're too good for Hibs away because we nearly beat Bayern Munich in Munich?
I think probably all those things. I don't think their attitude was right at the start of the game. I think they looked at Hibs and just thought, we might just have to turn up here. And they were obviously tired as well, and tired mentally and physically. And, when you've got a team like Hibs on form, really putting it to you, I don't think a lot of those Celtic players were up for it. And it's as simple as that. And when they made the changes, obviously, you bring on that calibre of player, Celtic were always going to have a period where they were going to threaten. But I was just delighted. And even with the 8 minutes stoppage time, I was looking at that and I was going, oh no, like you're just waiting for Celtic to score. And they didn't do anything. So even after that controversy, if you want to call it that, Hibs could have had a pen as well, by the way. They had like 15, 18 minutes to go and get another goal after that, and they did nothing. So
I always remember we beat Celtic in the semis in 2012 in the Scottish Cup, and it was one you might remember. We scored a last-minute penalty, Craig Beattie, and he did the celebration. And Lennon was going crazy about the handball decision, which I kind of get what you're saying. It actually was 2 handballs that led to the penalty. But all the refs were saying the only mistake that was made in that game was their goal was offside. Gary Hooper scored to equalise during it, and their goal was offside. But obviously, all that anyone's talking about is the penalty and how Celtic might have been wronged. But actually, as you say there, I'm giving a Hearts example. We should have had another decision, and you're saying Hibs could have had a penalty as well.
Easily, we could have had a penalty.
Get spoken about though.
No, and I thought sports team was very biased. I thought they were very poor in terms of, the gap between Bayern and Celtic isn't as big as the gap between Hibs and Celtic financially. It's not. And, Hibs have to try and make that up. And I just thought, you give props to a team like Hibs, who's the underdog. They perform like that and they see the result out. But all they've kind of talked about was that decision. Whereas actually I thought it was definitely the first half was our best performance of the season.
I was just going to say, I suppose to summarise that, Brendan Rodgers was getting interviewed after the Munich game, and he said, really proud of the players and all that. And fair enough, they were brilliant, good on them. But he then ruined it at the end by going, you look at the Bayern signings, and one of their signings is more than all of our signings put together, which
exactly.
That's true. But he literally every single week, apart from when he plays Rangers, is up against a team where that's the case. They've got Adam Ida alone was he was like 9 million or something like that.
Jota was 7, I think they re-signed him for, was it?
Maybe. I mean, even if it's 7, even if it's 3.5, there's no, no other team can do that.
That's the whole Hibs squad.
Exactly. And I believe, and this might not be the same for every team in the league, but Motherwell's entire annual wage budget is less than Brendan Rodgers' salary. And he's not even a player. I mean, it's embarrassing that he comes out with stuff like that, I think. For a guy who I respect and I think is a good manager, obviously. Yeah. But, I mean, it's funny he didn't congratulate Hibs on their win.
No, he didn't. He didn't really. And
despite the financial gap.
Yeah, exactly. So, reviewing Wednesday's games.
Yeah, looking ahead to Wednesday, you've got St Mirren. Obviously, we had a tough game against them in the cup quite recently. We spoke about St Mirren before. I think if you've got a St Mirren team who turn up, then you could get a bit of bother, no doubt about that. But again, if a line I've used a few times, I think if both teams are at the best, I think we're better than them. I suppose the big incentive for us is if we win, we're in the top 6. We're also looking at, I know we'll talk about your game in a bit. Hibs certainly not guaranteed a win at Tannadice, so we could move within a point of you guys ahead of the derby. I mean, there's a lot to be played for there, and I think the way we're playing just now, the fact we're at home, Tynecastle under the lights, I'd like to think we beat St Mirren. Admittedly, they'll be on a high. Obviously, they just beat Rangers. I'm hoping maybe they're a bit tired from some extra effort. Ibrox. That said, I don't know if much extra effort was needed. Rangers were pretty.
No, it was a very poor performance.
Pretty pony, but basically, long story short, we've no major misses or any additional misses going into the game. I'd like to think we beat St Mirren at home, and I'd probably say 2-0.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say. I think Hearts will win that 2-0.
Yeah,
they're on a great run, like ourselves. And as you say, look, St Mirren could make life very difficult.
Definitely.
But I just think Hearts will be more clinical when you've got a striker there on red hot form. You're creating a lot of chances, and I just think at home you're going to be too strong for St Mirren. So yeah, 2-0 Hearts.
So yeah, probably win for Hearts. We're saying, but a tougher game for Hibs. Dundee United away.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a really good record there at Tannadice. They're obviously above us in the league. Again, Hibs have a huge incentive. We're one of the form teams as well. Dundee United, look, they've been good without being spectacular. I think it's more Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen just have been so kind of inconsistent, obviously apart from this great run, that they've been able to kind of get those 1-0 scrappy wins, Dalby header, and get themselves kind of up where they are. But I don't see them staying there. So I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be optimistic. We're going to go to Tannadice and win. And we're going to set up a very, very tasty game on Sunday.
Fair enough. No, I respect that there. I think, funnily enough, you were talking about inconsistencies. Do you know that Hibs and Aberdeen have got the 2 best and the 2 worst runs of form in the league this season.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's not surprising at all, is it?
Yeah. No.
So you're actually both very consistent.
Yeah.
just in chunks.
Consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
But sorry, I was just going to say there. I think it'll be 1-0. Be a very close game, but I think Hibs we will edge it.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason why Hibs can't go and win. I'm going to say 1-1, just because Dundee United have been decent and they're at home, and I think when you've got someone like Dalby, who, you know, as well as Hibs have been doing, you'd bite your hand off for someone like him up top. I can't see either him not scoring or creating something that leads to a goal for them. So I'll say 1-1 for that one.
Okay.
Which means we'd go into Sunday, if I'm right on both fronts anyway, that'd be 2 points between Hearts and Hibs going into the game.
And just to set that up, obviously we're doing 2 podcasts this week. We're going to bring one out later in the week where we're going to review obviously Wednesday's games, and we're going to preview the massive Edinburgh Derby, which there's so much at stake for it. You know, both Hibs and Hearts are gunning for that 3rd place. There's not much in it in between the league. They're both on great runs of form. So it's going to be a really tasty one. I unfortunately can't go, which I'm absolutely gutted about because I've just had a knee op. I've finally submitted to the fact I can't walk, so I can't go. But I'll be watching it on the telly. And we will be having a very special guest on Thursday, a Hearts legend's son who happens to support Hibs will be
a Judas.
Will be joining us for a very special interview when we put this out later in the week. So look out for that, guys. And look, any questions as well, anything you want us to discuss in terms of the derby or anything like that, then please put your comments in and we'll try and cover it.
That sounds great. Well, here's hoping for a flurry of red cards and injuries at Tannadice on Wednesday night. That'd be brilliant. Hopefully the referee's got his book with him. That'd be great. Robert, nice and short this one, but I'll see you later on in the week.
See you later in the week. Bye.